Hello there, it's David here. Thinking about writing a screenplay or writing your own book? Then you might want to think about tenses. How many tenses are there in the English written language? 1 or 2? 3 maybe? Present tense, past tense, future tense. In fact, I think there might be about 12 different tenses at my last count. 12. So when you're writing a screenplay and you're trying to get people to speak in a natural way, your characters, you can get yourself into tied up in knots. Another thing is, what's the difference between a dialect and an accent? And some people may get confused about this. Well, and what's the difference between something like parochial or colloquial? Answers coming soon. Parochial means regional or a local parish parochial. Colloquial means informal or slang. Now, a dialect is something which pertains to a specific region, often containing actual words which are not standard English, so that if you didn't come from that region, these words wouldn't mean anything to you. You just wouldn't know what someone was saying. They'll use different words. And an accent is based around the vowel sound. So every BBC professional broadcaster around the regions will speak with some type of accent. Even if it's received pronunciation, RP, they will still be speaking with an accent, which is the tone or sound of the vowels. And but they will all be speaking standard English. They won't use any dialect words. So all the words will be standard, but you may get a tone which was from the region, which is fine. RP is received pronunciation, and it sounds quite posh, and it's based around BBC English, which is designed to be very clear, but it doesn't actually come from any region. It's not actually an organic type of accent. It was developed for broadcasting. Now the vowel sounds, you might say to yourself, how many vowels are there anyway? You can get A, E, I, O, U, the 5 vowels, and we think, that's about it, isn't it? Or is it? A long while ago, people from Glasgow used to call me Davy. My parents would call me David. David. And people would call me Davy. But I met a guy from Aylesbury when I was a late teenager, and he started to call me Dave. Hey Dave, are you there, Dave? And rather than saying Dave, he pronounced an A like an I. So dive, like diving off of a springboard or diving into a pool. So my name went to, rather than being Davy, it went Dave. How many vowels are there? Well, more than what you might think. And intonation is what it's all about. If you're trying to convey something, you don't have to shout very loud. A lot of people, I think, on YouTube, they get this microphone and start speaking very, very loud, and their voice is almost bouncing off of the walls and echoing. But in actual fact, that's too loud. A microphone's designed to pick your voice up when you're close. So if you're a radio DJ, you're talking for hours, you don't want to be shouting all the time because you wear your voice out. So intonation, which is up and down pitch, allows you to express things in many different emotions, but you don't have to boom it out. But you may be interested in other things, like a schwa. What's a schwa? Well, a schwa is a short vowel, and it's very important. And I'll now demonstrate where it comes in, because it comes in all the time. So if I said, how do you pronounce this capital city of Scotland? And I showed it written down. An American might say, well, that's Edinburgh. Edinburgh. Somebody else might say Edinburgh. And somebody might say Edinburgh. 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 And in fact, when you're pronouncing it, you use a schwa. So it's pronounced in general when you're speaking fluently, Edinburgh. I'm going to Edinburgh tomorrow. I just came back from Edinburgh. And that brh is a schwa. Is that I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Edinburgh. That's known as a schwa, and that comes into pronunciation. It's very important because you're not pronouncing things with Edinburgh, bro, or bara. It's brah, Edinburgh, and this makes your speech fluent. There's another thing which is a diphthong. It sounds like a bit of a strange word. A diphthong. What is that? And a diphthong is when you merge two vowels together. And you get a different sound. And sometimes with accents, it can be exaggerated. But other times it's not, but it's just there. So you get two vowel sounds. And this comes out in terms of a word like coin, loud, side, or help. And what happens is you start off with one sound, which is longer, a vowel sound, and it merges into a shorter, extended sound. So if you come from Tennessee, southern state of America, you don't pronounce things with a kind of short vowel. You tend to put this diphthong sound. So therefore, if you pronounce the word hair, which is one syllable, hair on your head, you might say it's hair. Hair. Have you combed your hair? And this little extra bit is where you get the diphthong. So they say, I ran out of coins. You're talking too loud. You just say it. So if you exaggerate it, you go, help, like Penelope Pitstop. So the diphthong is an interesting one. A schwa is essential, intonation essential, and when you are constructing dialogue for a screenplay, or even just writing a story anyway, these things can be quite important, because that makes a difference between something just sounding pretty bland, or your characters actually coming alive. But it can take a lot of work to try and get that into the prose. But if you're a voice actor and you're doing an audiobook, if you're a professional, you'll know all about this. And if you don't, maybe you're probably not really a professional. So this is why people can make a lot of money out of good diction and intonation, because they know about this sort of stuff, and this allows them to speak with eloquence. And that can be a lot more persuasive. I'll see you soon for the next lesson. Bye bye for now.